even at the primary level, as an exam as basic as the common entrance exam. Do you see any influence of what that might have caused in the scores?
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
I'll take that again now. Only recently there was a talk of cheating in exams, conduct of examinations, even at the primary level, where pupils are told answers to questions in some exam halls. Do you think that could have influenced in any way the results that we're seeing here, or the recommendations that we're seeing here?
Well, if that is the case, that should even encourage cheating. This policy, or so-called, will actually encourage cheating because people will want to cheat to be able to get in. So it's not as a result of that this new policy was made, but it will actually encourage cheating. That's the way I see it. Because one, if I know that there are only about 2 or 3 of us who can get into school, well, some children will want to, and if they're desperate, then they will be able to say, okay, look, I have to get in by all means. But I don't think that should actually be the case. So saying that in order to avoid cheating in primary or secondary schools, that's why this policy was made. I mean, let's give every Nigerian a level playing field and let them compete and bring out the best in them. And this is better for the nation, this is better for the child, and this is better for the parents. Because psychologically, they'll be looked down in the classroom. And you know how children talk. After all, you got in with 2 marks. I got in with 139. So it might be psychologically, the child who got in with 2 marks or 4 marks will be psychologically affected negatively, than that child, because the child wouldn't stop, wouldn't talk amongst her peers or his peers. And it happens, we see it every time that we in social circles. And when a young man from a rich home, comes around and tries to display his wealth and all that. I mean, in the social circle, you say, well, you can't be doing that. What you're displaying is your father. If not for your father, if not for your grandfather, who bequeathed the wealth to you, go and make your own wealth. The same thing will go to these children. Because they are not allowed to beat their own chest and say, yes, I did it. So by this policy, you're taking that away from them.
But the thing is...
And to cause more harm, to damage their personality, it damage their psyche, it damage everything about them, more than just what you're trying to do to encourage them.
The law is still the same for those who cheat during examinations. And so if they have different cutoff marks or different requirements to get into different institutions at different times, the law doesn't discriminate at that time. So this, they also point out, is part of the challenge you have, why we should correct this, what some describe as imbalance in this education structure.
Okay. Can you say that again, please? I missed that.
I'm pointing out the fact that, if you look at, there's a comment coming through here who says, during that time, Bendel had a cutoff of 320, and Sokoto has 79. And now you have states like Yobe who have 4, Zamfara who have 2, against some states who have 139, maybe Imo, Enugu, or Ekiti. And then they say, look, the law is still the same for those who cheat. I don't know if it's changed from 21 years imprisonment. And so why would they have this different requirements to come into schools? And at the end of the day, if you cheat, whether you have 129 or 200 or 4 or 0, you face the same law if you're found guilty.
Yes, and again, there should be sanctions for those who cheat within the institution, and again, outside the institution, governmental level. There should be sanctions. Cheating should not be encouraged, because it will catch up with you. Whatever you do, you may get away with it now, but it catches up with you in the future. Now, there was something that happened with my former boss, who is late now. When he was the executive director at UBA, he attended an interview, and he sat at an interview, and one lady that supposedly read economics, was being interviewed, and a simple question about economics, she couldn't answer. At the point she broke down and said, well, that she cheated in the exam, that she didn't really do this. And you can imagine, it has a way of catching up with you in the future. It's better we handle it at that basic level rather than being embarrassed like that girl was embarrassed during a job interview, that she could not even defend her degree. That's what happens. So if you cheat or you get in through other means like this, the lower the mark for you to get in, it has a way of catching up with you in the future. So it is better that you are allowed to compete with other children. If you fail one time, you brace up and try again, because to me success is 99% failure. So you need to fail several times. Great people that have made it in the world fail several times. I have failed several times in different endeavors to be able to be where I am today. So we should be allowed to compete, and in the course of competing, you're bound to fail. But a failure is not someone who fails, but someone who remains down when, that's a typical failure. But if you fail and get up again, you're not a failure. So it has a way of catching up with you in the future.
The reason why this question is important is because, the focus has been on the states where, we've seen 2, 4, and, all the such scores. The focus hasn't been on the other states where you've seen 139, 133, 131, and people are asking, are we also, considering the fact that because it is so competitive in these states, parents are resorting to all sorts, even teachers too are resorting to all sorts to make sure that the students, perform up to expectations. And it might not exactly be the scenario in those states.
Well, the thing is that if students have options, if you can't go to school A, you can go to school B. If you can't go to school B, you can go to school C. So when you have various options, then the issue of applying all different means to get into school through cheating and all that, or lowering the distance, will be minimized, will be mitigated, But when there are no options, then this kind of thing will be. And again, don't forget that the quest for certificate in this country, everybody just wants to get certificate. And again, the challenge is we can go back to look at the bigger picture. This systemic challenge that we have in the education system. Everybody must not go to university, for instance. You have the vocational. It's not when you go to university that you are really educated. No. We have to have skills-based, functional education. Some people like plumbers, we provide opportunity for them to be educated so that what education does is to develop your faculty. Then you can build on it. So when everybody focuses on certificate, I mean, not everybody should go to university, for instance. People can be whatever they want to be without going through the university system. But they go through educational system.
Dr. Nweze,
so
if you're going to pursue
this kind of thing
line
happens,
of thought,
you're telling them, look,
you're going to have
because
to do
of the situation, you must go through this, and you must do certain things to get in. So that is kind of pressure that students, especially their parents. A 10-year-old does not have really a mind of his own or her own. But at that age, the parents are actually guiding them. So the parents should be held responsible. And because of the nature, people are now going into the one-income family is no longer obtainable. The two-income, families they abandon the children to teachers